Hi, it's Kirsten. Okay, so question of the day. Who wants to go to a salon and get their nails done when you can just do it at home and have it look just as good? Well, not my own nails, obviously, but I'm going to do Vianne's. Hi, Vianne. But we're going to do it in a cheap way. Hopefully it will hold up. And we'll see how easy it is and how it looks. It's all about how it looks, how easy it is, and how much it costs for me. So we're going to try this out. Kind of all the rage right now. And basically, you've probably heard of it. The Corn Starch acrylics. It's not really acrylic if it's cornstarch, but the Corn Starch nails. And we're going to do it with tips. And we've already taken Vianne's fingers and we've buffed off the shine. And I've fitted her. We did this one last night just to try it out. So you can see it's actually pretty decent. It's a little bumpy because she fell asleep and the nail polish wasn't dry yet. And same with her. See the wonderful, wonderful lines on it. That's sheet lines, face lines, whatever. Anyway, so yeah, we're going to go ahead and finish her hands up, and then we'll give you kind of a step-by-step on how things work and what we use and things like that. I'm going to go over the list of things that we kind of have here. This is a small table, so this is just what I need to apply the tips. I have the tips, which are clear, because I think they look more natural. I have a buffing block to take off the shine and clean stuff up. Nail glue, of course. These to trim them down. A file if you need to like shorten them. Rubbing alcohol to take the oils off. This is something for later. We're going to go ahead and put the tips on. We'll just trim them down and then we'll come back and we'll cover some more. Okay. All right, so here we are. We have the tips on. And I went ahead and took a file. It's a fairly small grit file. It's this one. It's a medium grit. And this is almost the only filing you have to do, which is one thing that I really like about doing them when I did this last night, is that there wasn't a lot of filing after if you're careful. Now what I'm going to do before I start this is I'm going to take the oils off the nail and any dust that might have built up, and don't leave fuzz on the nail because that's never fun to deal with. I'm sorry if that stung your little hangnail there. Poor baby. Okay, and then we'll do the thumb. Just kind of removing any oils or anything that have gotten on the skin from me touching it or whatever. Now, I've seen a couple different ways of doing this, different schools of thought. You can either dip it or spoon it on or shake it on. I have a sifter, and I saw somebody use that on a YouTube tutorial, and I really like the result and how it looked. I'm using my sifter, and I keep it in a little container over here off to the side so that it doesn't get all over the place, because this can be a little messy if you're not careful. And then I have this container, which I will basically be shaking it into this. And then I actually save my cornstarch and put it back into a baggie and reuse it. So I'm not just dumping it. We're going to get started with this. I'm going to start on her pinky. Oh, and I have this brush, which I bought. It's actually a foundation brush. So it's firm, but super soft. And I got a really smooth, like when I was taking the powder off, it didn't move the top coat with it didn't move it if it was still wet. It just kind of took the dust off. So I really like this brush. I've seen people use big fluffy ones, but I really like this foundation brush for it. And I bought this just basically for this. So what we're going to do is we're going to put a layer of, this is Sally Hansen top coat. Nothing special, just like the Hard as Nails top coat. It costs like $3, I think, for this. It's not sponsored. No, I just bought it at Sally's Beauty Supply, which also is not sponsoring this. Okay, pinky. All right, stay away from the cuticle, just like if you were doing acrylics. Whoops, dripped on the outside of the bottle. That's awesome. My skills are starting to show. And just put a nice layer, not super thick, and get the fuzz off. That's the problem with cotton balls. So we're just doing a nice thin layer of top coat. And let it dry just for a second. I mean, there's no stress about like, oh, we gotta hurry before it dries. And then you take the cornstarch, bring it over, and just put a good layer on. I let it sit for a minute. I found that kind of made it easier. See, everything's all contained in this bowl, which most of the people that I saw doing it online, it just seemed like there was cornstarch everywhere. And that would drive me insane. It would just drive me nuts. So after it sits for a minute, then we tap off what we can. And then I still let it sit for a minute longer. As a matter of fact, I'm going to move on to the next one. Get that to go down the brush instead of blopping off the side. Now, I've seen people start with like the back of the nail and like just do it over the stress point, which is basically the spot where the tip connects to the fingernail and the free edge of the nail. It's called the stress point. That's where most fake nails will pop or break or whatever. And I may go back and do that just to kind of remove a little bit of the bump from the, because there will be a little bit of a bump at first from where the tip connects to the natural nail. But the first coat, I like to just do a full coat all the way across. In the meantime, brush some of the stuff off your skin on this one. That's just one coat. It's not bad. I mean, the nail polish is only going to absorb so much of the powder. So leaving it on there for a minute, it's not going to make it thicker or anything like that. So we can leave that on there while we do the other nails, and there's nothing wrong with that. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and brush this one off. All right, so we did the 4 nails that we hadn't done on this hand yet. We did about 4 coats of them. And I took the buffer and just kind of went around the edge to make sure that they're nice and smooth around the edge. Other than that, I didn't do any filing really. They look pretty good. They're not super thick. They actually look really thin and more natural than acrylics in my opinion. It's just a matter of how they're going to hold up and the durability issue. Now we let these dry in between coats pretty well. If you don't do that, it does take a long time for them to actually dry and set up. And I'm going to go ahead and start, like, you know, the nail polish stuff on this, and then we'll show you again. Well, I'll show you how I do the nail polish. It's kind of a trick in itself. This is Sally Hansen Diamond Strength. It's called something blue, 160, and I put it on the end of this sponge. Just kind of coat it on there really good, and then I dab it onto the nail, just on like the free edge and up a little bit, so it's kind of like a fading effect on the nail polish. So basically like this. Just kind of dab it and just go up a little bit, but just on the free edge, and then you leave the nail base alone. Do a little bit more on this. Sorry. Sound effects. Nail sound effects. It's a thing. All right, and then we have this Ultra Nail. Got it at Sally's. What color is it? I have no idea. Oh, Pink Frost, and it's got kind of like an iridescence to it. I thought it looked very festive for New Year's. Somebody's bedanging over there. Isn't that pretty? Let this dry. We'll come back when we're all done. You guys can look at the finished result. So yeah, this is what they look like when they're all done. We put a final top coat on to make it nice and shiny, and we even added some flowers just for fun. It was fairly easy. The longest part of the process, or the part that actually made it a long process, is that we needed to let it dry properly. As far as cost per nail, we did the math, added up everything that we used, including files, to get this look, and then averaged it out to how much cost it would be per nail, and it was what?
Under $1.50.
It was $1. That's not per nail though. It was $1.50 for the full set. That's how much it would cost. That's the break. So you can go to a salon and get like professional nails, and you know, spend anywhere from $30 to $50 plus tip, you know, and not always be super satisfied with what you get. Or you can do it at home yourself, or with some help from a friend, because, you know, Vianne didn't do these, I did. But, yeah, she's got some hangnails going on. Whoops. Anyway, but yeah, I think they look pretty, and we will update you guys and let you know how they fared as far as durability and stuff. What do you think, Vianne? Do you like them?
They're really pretty. Yeah, I like them.
All right. Happy New Year.